Hi, Stream Queens Con. Woo! We're here. We made it. Welcome to day 3 of Stream Queens Con. We've had 2 amazing days so far, and we're on the 3rd day. We're starting it off. We've got drag, we've got queer people, we've got stuff happening. Welcome to I'm Coming Out, the panel discussion about being yourself, living your truth, highlighting on when you came out, like if you came out as an adult, the impact on friends, family, career, just how you being yourself changed your world. You're free now. You're you. Let's talk about identity, share insights on stuff to inspire the world, inspire the children. My name is Dear. Let's play what you fear. I am the founder of Stream Queens, and I'm so happy to be here with this amazing cast of beautiful, gorgeous individuals. I'm just going to go around the room and y'all can introduce yourself. I want you to tell us your Twitch channel and what you do, your pronouns if you'd like, just a quick little introduction. I'm going to take a look at what order are we on the screen. Let me just double check here. Okay, so I'm just going to go around the room, left to right, you know, all that. Austin, hi, welcome.
Hello, thank you so much for having me, everybody. My name is Austin, or I go by Austin Show. I host reality TV-based content on Twitch. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm gay. So there you go.
Hi, gay.
Hi. Gay.
Thank you so much. Imperial, welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Of course. Thank you for having me. My name is Imperial, Misty. People call me either. It's fine. I stream on obviously Twitch, and I stream sewing and games. My pronouns are she, her. I did that out of order. I'm looking at the notes. I'm trying to stay on target. I stream sewing and cooking and gaming and anything that sounds fun. And I've been streaming for in January will be my 7-year partnerversary. So longer than 7 years. Other than that, I can't. The math isn't mathing. I don't know. I don't remember.
Oh yeah. That is so cool. 7 years. Damn, that's amazing. Thank you so much, you two, for being our guests. And we also have some stream queens here. We've got LMD, Lady Mega Danger. Hi.
Hi everyone, I'm Lady Mega Danger. I stream at twitch.tv/Lady Mega Danger. It's all one word. Pronouns are she, they. We do retro games, we do RPGs, we do bad games. We watch a lot of public domain movies on my show, and we love cult stuff. We love avant-garde stuff, and we're happy to be here. And I'm also bisexual. So, yeah, take that.
Rebel, hello. Hello, welcome.
Hi, my name's Rebel, twitch.tv/Rebel. I'll use any pronouns, gender anarchist. I just throw gender up in the air, see what lands on that day, and I just ride with it. Bisexual, drag artist, ex-military of 10 years, been through therapy, and I'm now very much a mental health, mindfulness, and growth orientated kind of person.
I love that. It's so cool how everyone does such different stuff. And
There's a great range in here.
Absolutely. We're covering lots of bases. Hello, Prince Harming.
Hello. Yes, I'm Prince Harming. I'm a drag king streamer here on Twitch. I do a lot of horror gaming and stuff over on my channel. And as you can tell by my lighting, I am bisexual. And yeah, I go by he, him, or they, them.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. And I just want to clarify, this is just a snippet of what Stream Queens has to offer in terms of representation and just a little insight on the whole entire platform of Twitch. There are so many queer creators. Check out the LGBTQIA+ tag, discover more queer creators to support. And I just want to learn a little bit about y'all and you know, inspire people to live their truths, because y'all are out and proud and doing your thing. I want to know, when did you realize you were different? When did you realize you were queer? Because I know a lot of you came out as adults later, but like when were you like, I'm different, I'm standing out, I'm not fitting in? Does anyone want to volunteer, or should I call upon people?
Oh, I can start. I was like 10.
Mm-hmm.
10, and I was like, why do I want to kiss the girl who lives upstairs?
Little Mermaid, kiss
Right?
the girl.
Exactly. And then I kind of, society was like, no. And I'm like, okay, sure, great, everything's fine. And I liked boys, so I was like, I guess I don't know. That's I'm supposed to like boys. That's what everyone tells me, and so that's what I do. And then, it was a question that never left my head. And the more I grew up and the more I felt comfortable, the more I felt like maybe that was something for me. And then when I got divorced, I was like, nope, I'm good. I feel comfortable. And yeah, there's lots of fun, side tributary journeys there, but that's basically it.
Yeah. So you realized young, and then you were like, I
Yeah.
need to come to terms with this.
I kind of
And
pushed it to the side
yeah.
for 40 years.
and that's
Right?
so
'Cause I'm
true for
40,
so many
yeah.
people.
I'm 49 years old. People are always like, "Oh, don't tell people that on Twitch." And I'm like, "No, I am. First of all, black don't crack, so it's fine. It's fine." But secondly, I mean, it's good to know that at 46, you can come out, right? I was
Absolutely.
46 years old, right? I had a friend, and we were talking about this earlier before the show. A friend gave me this sticker, this pretentious bisexual
Aw.
sticker.
Oh,
Year-
and it literally says pretentious. I thought you were
Yeah,
describing it.
no. Well, I mean, pansexual, it's the same thing. So the for me only. But she gave that to me and I was like, but I'm not. She goes, just take it, honey. I was like, okay. Years before. So I've always held on to it like, thank you for believing in me, my future journeys.
I love. Anyone else? When did you learn that you were different? Like, when did you sort of like, did it click? You were like, this something's not. I don't want to say normal. Like, but I'm different. I'm an outsider.
I'll go if that's okay.
Rebel, yes, please.
I'd say for me it was well, I didn't start experimenting until I was about 22. So before then I was
Austin, sorry.
oh yeah, no, it's okay. Oh, sorry, did I run over?
No. I was looking at the wrong thing.
Oh, it's okay.
Austin,
No
thank
worries.
you.
Kira can't take
Go
her
ahead.
eyes off me.
Yeah, no worries. So I didn't start experimenting until I was about 22 years old. But I'd say the first feelings I had that I felt different, but I didn't know how to associate them, was when I was like as young as like 7 years old. Like I had this boy that I had now you look back on that I had a huge crush on, but at the time I just had these feelings, but because of the way that a lot of us are raised and how society tells us, we're gonna grow. I was gonna grow up. I was gonna marry a woman. I didn't really know how to associate those feelings. So I'd say as young as 7 years old. But a lot of these feelings that I had, I realized them later in life when I look back and be like, oh, that makes a lot of sense, sort of thing. So 7 years old, when I remember when in middle school, I think one of my friends took his shirt off. I remember, and I was like, oh my God,
Oh
But,
my.
and at the time
Wow.
I was like, oh God, what's happening to me? But I didn't know. I never ever thought that I was gay for some reason. Of course, I was in denial for many years. And then it wasn't until about, like I said, 22, until I started experimenting. And even then I was in denial. But yeah, from a very young age.
I think that sometimes we don't have the language and the tools to like assign to what we feel or what we're thinking. And sometimes, like you said, it's like a denial kind of thing too.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
Mhm.
What about LMD?
Yeah, I mean, I've lived my life as a straight man since I was a kid, and I discovered I was bisexual just like a couple years back. And for me, it was like someone very close to me would just ask, like, "Are you? Do you think you're bisexual?" And I'm like, "No." And I was just kind of like dismissive because I'm like, "No, I'm like in my mid-20s. I'm almost 30. I don't want to, I'm okay." And then I just kind of like went back through my childhood, and when I was a kid, and I realized that there was this boy that I had a crush on him, right? And it was one of those moments that like I remember him hanging out with other people without me and thinking like, why does it hurt so much? Why does why is it so painful? Why do I want to like be with him so much? Why does it hurt? And what is this feeling? And I'm just like, it's nothing. It's weird. But now I realize like I had a crush on him. It's the exact same feeling as like when I had a crush on a girl, and I see a girl with like a guy, like another guy, like they overlooked me or something. And it was just this total recall moment and I couldn't shake it. And I'm like, I think I am bisexual. And then it was just a word that I love to describe the way that I've kind of always felt. But for me, it was like, I kind of put the puzzle pieces together way later in life. And yeah, it was just it's just interesting to kind of look back and see like the warning signs and how you adjust and how you well, not warning signs, right? But you know what I mean. Just like
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
The flags were there.
Yes, yes, exactly. And it was so it was just it was slower for me, but I definitely just kind of saw that they were there this whole time, you know.
Mhm. Harming, do you have anything to
Yeah.
share here too?
Yeah, so I, much like many queer people, I knew I was queer at a very like young age. Didn't have the language for it or anything, but uh, once you start hitting puberty and you start really like understanding yourself more, I had initially said I was bisexual, but then like everyone around me was just like, so you're gay, you're gay. Bisexual is just like an in-between phase. And so like I just kind of like internalized that and I was like, okay, yeah, I guess I'm gay. And so like I went through most of my like adult life just calling myself gay and then just being like, oh, but like everybody, like everyone who's gay also is also like a little bit attracted to women, right? Like you're still like a bit attracted, right? And everybody's like, what? No. Like I realized like I didn't come out as bisexual until about a year ago, I think, because I had so much internalized biphobia that like I didn't consider myself bisexual. And I was like afraid to call myself bisexual because of that. But then as I like got more bisexual friends and I talked to them more, I was like, oh wait, I share a lot of these similarities and a lot of these same feelings. And so like it was like a slow realization that I'm like, oh, I'm actually bi. And so like it was just like didn't come out until I was like 29 as bisexual after I'd already come out as gay before. So it was like a little bit backwards feeling.
Yeah, yeah. It's so interesting how there's stigmas to straight people about queer people, and then within queer spaces, sometimes there's even a stigma about bisexuality. Like it's
Mhm.
like there's you're just getting it from everybody. It's just terrible. Um, but thank you for being open and honest and
I
being
like
like, no, I'm not just gay. I'm bisexual. I'm who I am, and you can't tell me what I'm supposed to be or what.
Mhm.
Rebel, can you share anything here? What when did you realize you were different? You're not fitting in.
So I remember when I was a kid, I was like looking at like women's fashion, air quotes. I really hate gender in clothes, but that's what it is. I was looking at women's fashion and looking at the way that like women like carried themselves in society and everything. And I remember thinking like, I really wish I was born a woman so that I could have done these things. I was probably more born a girl at that age, but regardless, so I could do all these things as well. And I had a dad who was in the military who was not the best dad I could have ever had in reality, who tried to like force me down this certain route, which is how I eventually ended up in the military myself. So I was in the army for 10 years from the age of 18 until I was about 28. And then when I left the army, I went to therapy, just started working through everything, unpacking the world in my brain. And I started to realize that my relationship with gender and sexuality was subconsciously masked. I was presenting in a way that I thought people wanted me to be. So it was probably in the last like year or two that I realized like I'm definitely not like cis man in the way that the world expects cis men to be. So that was when I started using gender anarchist instead. And I think I've always known that I was bisexual. And I remember telling my parents I was bisexual when I was 16. But very much like switched out of that rhetoric when I was in the military because that just wasn't the thing to do. And now I'm just like, you know what? As you just said, like I am what I am, and if the world's got a problem with it, or people in the world have a problem with that, that's fine. Like I don't care. I just want to live my life for me from here, rather than trying to force myself to be something that I'm not for everyone else's comfort. So let's go.
Absolutely. I love how you phrase that because that segues into my next question. It's like
It's like this is
we
rehearsed.
it's almost like you know. Um it's so why is it so important to be unapologetically yourself? Why did all of you decide to be like, I'm out, I'm proud, and it's even going to become a part of me that I talk about on socials, I talk about in my content. Why is it important to make a statement with what you do? And
Can I end the last? Sorry.
sorry, what was that?
No, you finish. You finish.
Oh, just why is it important to be yourself? Why are you making a statement?
Can I
And
end the last one and start this one?
yes, please. Yes.
Let's go. For me, it was because I've been through what I have been through in life, and because the military tried to force me to be something that I wasn't, and it was like, you know, trying to get like a square piece into a circular hole. Innuendo not intended. I think it's really important for me, both in my career and my life as a whole, to try and be that person that, you know, like younger people can look at and be like, well, I kind of relate to that story, and I don't really feel like I fit. So maybe if this person, this drag artist here, has been through what they've been through, and they've you know, like given up 10 years of their life to this cis het military macho agenda, maybe I could just start living for me as well. Like, we've only got one life as far as we're aware, so why should we sacrifice part of that or all of that trying to fit into a society that has just been a little bit too restrictive for 8 billion people on the planet? Like, there's no sense in putting our happiness behind society's boxes, essentially, for me.
That is so beautifully put. Like, am I gonna cry? I can't. It's the start of the day.
Have a
It's
tissue.
the- it's
Have a
the start of
tissue.
the day.
You
Thank
can't
you.
ruin your makeup already. There's so
Oh,
much
no.
more.
I love how you said that. Thank you so much for sharing. And I think that it's so obvious that you are such a mental health advocate, just in the way that you speak. Like, I love the way that you frame that
Thank you.
so much. Um, why is being yourself important, y'all? Tell me. I need to know.
Well, I'm
ahead.
so like I was already, streaming as a queer streamer before, and that's already very important. But like after I had sort of had a soft coming out again as bisexual, it's like I want to be very adamant about my bisexuality to people and correct people when uh they might refer to me as just gay or something, not because they're being malicious, but like I know there's other bisexual people out there that are either being ignored or erased or are ashamed or don't know that they're bisexual yet, and they haven't like realized that about themselves, and let them know that like it's not too late to like realize things about yourself, to like still find out things about yourself that you may have been in denial of or been unaware of. So it's like it's never too late. You can always find out more about yourself.
Yes, absolutely. And Austin, I saw you wanted to say something as well.
Yeah, I think one thing that was important to me as well was also you have one life to live, and it is such a burden to have to lie constantly about who you are. And I think that that's one of the big leading factors for me coming out is it's like, God, I want to talk about how that guy walking past is attractive to me. I want to talk about
Mm.
like my love life. I want to talk about sex with people without having to lie about, oh, I used to do these crazy things where I would tell people about this crazy hookup that I had, but I would say it was a girl, but it was actually a guy. But I'd lie about that sort of thing. I'd tell my parents I was driving off to go see my friends or whatever, and it's just such a burden. So that really pushed me to come out. And then on the other side of things, to come out professionally, I think I want to project my authentic self to my audience in the best way that I can. And I think that because of my own personal experience, I know there's a ton of young people specifically, and of all ages that are struggling with their sexuality. And I want to project that whatever you're feeling on any spectrum of sexuality, it's normal. I think it's a part of the human experience. And I think that as a queer person, as queer people, I think that's one of the things that that we want is to be perceived as we're just a human beings, just having a human experience. And so I really take pride in projecting my homosexuality out to the world, because I want people to know that, look, I'm just a normal guy. I love people just like you do. It doesn't. I just so happen to be gay. So that's part of the reasons why I came out and why I project that to my audience.
Yes, thank you. What about you, Imperial?
So my focus is not all entirely on being an older streamer, but as an older streamer, I take it seriously that there's responsibilities there to project as a content creator, not only who I am authentically, but using that to help other people. And I've always been like that. And it's to be able to say, this is who I am, and not only who I am, but this is when I was comfortable saying who I am, and you don't ever have to be comfortable saying, like, as long as you're comfortable inside, and that's the priority. If I can use my platform to help people with mental health struggles, just by validating their experience in life, then I feel like I mean, it's not a responsibility, but maybe a little bit like personal responsibility. And it's important to me to just be as authentically myself as I can be. And by coming out, it was a mental burden that was relieved for me, right? There wasn't always that kind of mental like record player that went on 24/7. Like, maybe you should tell someone, maybe you should talk about it, maybe you should do this, right? It was, no, I just am. This is who I am. Is it what the typical American experience talks about? No, but I'm none of those things anyway, in the typical American experience. So
Mhm.
this is just
Mhm.
one more thing. And by talking about it, I just hope that other people feel more comfortably inside and they can hopefully out, right? Like to be themselves as much as they feel comfortable being, right? Happy, consensual, and kind is my goal for absolutely everything I do in life. And you should always have that experience if you can. And I that's why it was important to me.
Absolutely. I mean, that's relatable. I mean, I just both of you, Imperial and Austin, saying being what was the word you used? Like a burden off your shoulders. It's
Mhm.
lifting a weight off your shoulders, just not having to lie, not having to sneak around like who you are and what you do. So I agree completely, and I think that that's something that resonates with a lot of people. What about you, LMD? Tell me. Why is
Yeah,
coming out important?
yeah, a lot of really good answers. Everybody, I agree completely. Very, very, very good panel so far. Wow. My 2 cents is that I had a lot of fear before I came out. And it was honestly, it was that wanting to be, that authenticity, that authentication, that verification, that validation, right? You
That
you
that
want that,
$8
like,
check mark, but to your heart.
exactly, right, 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 right. And it's like, for me, I have a lot of fear all the time. I have anxiety, so I'm afraid of a lot of stuff. But this was just kind of like, this is who I am, and I need to just tell people. I need to, like, move on, whether they accept me or not. Like, I'm over, like, hiding. I'm over being afraid, and because I came out when I was 30, like, not long ago. So it's like, I don't want to be afraid anymore. And I think that it's important to see that, and it's important to know that, like, it's not too late. Like, you can, it's okay. Like, you don't need to be afraid, right? We've all been there. It's okay.
Absolutely. I I think that once again is the perfect segue to our next sort of topic. So, I'm someone where I was like, okay, I'm done being afraid. I'm no longer gonna be. I mean, I'm gonna be anxious, but like secretly. I started my Twitch channel and my drag like to celebrate these parts of myself. But I know several of you already were streaming with content. I mean, Imperial, you said you've been streaming for 7 years. So
Yeah.
the being authentically queer and proud is a more recent kind of development.
Yeah.
I want to know, and y'all can frame this however you want. How did being out and proud impact you? And you can talk about your community on Twitch, you can talk about your
Mhm.
family, you can talk about your job. Like, how did just being yourself impact around you? Because right now in our conversation, finally we are free. But how is outside of yourself receiving that?
um,
Austin, I see you.
yeah,
You're like, call on
yeah,
me.
yeah,
Call on me,
yeah.
Go
Austin.
for it.
I, for me, I'm very fortunate to have had a very positive experience. I I think I've been on the platform for 10 years. I've been streaming for 10 years. The Twitch has become a much more progressive place over the years. However, obviously, we still have some improvements to be made, of course. But there was a time early on, 2013, 2014, when coming out as gay would have been, not even, we would have come with a lot of harassment. And I think it still does in certain parts of the website, for the record. But for me personally, it was well received by my audience. I came out on Twitter, and I actually came out as bisexual. But I very quickly after that, I was like, no, I think I'm gay. But I never made a second post, but I think people have just caught on. But yeah, it was well received. And I'm fortunate to not have had a lot of negativity surrounding it. But and it hurts me when I do hear that people have not had maybe a similar experience. So I'm curious actually to hear. I hope that everybody had a positive one on this website. And if you didn't, I'm curious. I hope it'd be terrible to hear if that was the case.
Yeah. I came out on Twitter as well. And I don't know that we ever really talked about it on my stream afterwards. I think it was just kind of like, oh, all right, let's go. And then we continued onward. The interesting conversations have been with my children, right? I have 2 kids. And my 14-year-old came into my office the other day, and I have a pan flag that I got at my first Pride this year, which was super fun. On the beach, Pride on the beach, by the way, highly recommend. Highly recommend. And I had actually seen one of my daughter's friends there. And when we saw each other again in a social situation, she was like, and I'm like, no, you're safe. This is your hope you're doing well. Like, she was totally snowed. But my kid came into my office, my work office, and saw my pan flag and was like, what's that? And I told him, and he goes, oh, is that yours? And I said, it is. And he goes, oh, cool. And he walked out. And I was like, can you imagine? Like, I remember back to my high school days when I was 14, his age, and the lack of acceptance with it. We knew the one gay kid in school, and he was mocked mercilessly, right?
Mhm.
So you didn't want that. It didn't matter what you felt inside. Nobody wanted that. And it really hampered a lot of things. And to see a 14-year-old kid just like, oh, that's cool. And like it was another Tuesday. That's the type of thing for me, like that's super important, right? By just
Mhm.
having like, nope, this is just who I am, and that's fine, right? And the kids being okay with it, it gives me hope for the future. It really does.
That's beautiful. I mean, that must be a testament to your parenting too, because you're creating a space where your children are accepting of different people, even when
Mhm.
that different person is their parent that they've known for
Mhm.
years. I mean, that's really heartwarming.
Yeah. And
Thank
my
you for
daughter is
sharing.
always just like, whatever. She doesn't see the problem with it.
You
She's
do you.
Yeah, she's like, I don't understand. She gets mad at people. It's you could do a whole broad like panel on the way that my daughter gets mad at people, at homophobes. It's amazing, quite
Good.
frankly. I'm happy about it.
We should all be that mad. I mean, plenty
Agree.
of us are, but everyone should be
Yeah.
mad. Everyone should be an ally. How did coming out impact you, your career, your friends, your family? I'll just go around the room. What about you, Rebel?
Yeah, let's go. So my family have been pretty wonderful, honestly. So I guess I should give some context to this. I started streaming in drag in lockdown. So during the first lockdown, and I've been wanting to do drag for a very long time, but it was like one of those things that was like, well, I'm working full time. I'll get around to it eventually, get around to it eventually. And then when I was stuck at home, I was just like, well, now is maybe the time to do it. So I just jumped on Twitch in drag and started showing me, I guess. And I started meeting all these wonderful people who have been so accepting and so loving. And as the years have gone on, I've met more and more people. I can see some of them in the chat. I've got the chat open on the monitor who are just they fill my heart with joy. So they do. They've made me feel so good knowing that they're also out there on their journey, learning about themselves and sharing that with our community, and all of us just kind of like growing together. I decided about 6-7 months ago that a large part of the reason that I was so ashamed of myself was because of, as I alluded to earlier, my dad growing up. So through like therapy and everything, I've taken the steps to put boundaries in there, remove him from my life entirely, and it's been liberating. Really hard thing to do, don't get me wrong, like you know, removing a family member who has been there your entire life, and you've almost like known that they've been a less than good influence on you, but actually like taking the steps to fix that for you, I guess, is so difficult in every way possible. But like since I've been through it, and again, like because my community support me through it, my mum support me through it, my sister support me through it because they've already cut him out. It's just been such a good like last 8 months or so. It's been positive experience after positive experience since then. And as Austin said earlier on about removing that kind of like burden from your shoulders, it's just like, oh, everything just feels so free now, so clear, so liberating. Why is there no longer this huge weight in my chest every time I think about who I am? It's just like I can just exist for me. This is wonderful. It's so to summarize, it's been a pretty great experience through the last couple of years. This journey of growth.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, luckily, like the
True.
community here on Twitch that I've experienced, you know, I was already a part of the drag and queer little pocket that we have here on Twitch, and you know, occasionally you get people from outside of our bubble that come in and aren't so nice, but overall, most people like never really questioned my like change of identity or anything. They were very supportive, very kind and loving. And you know, I have a partner outside of Twitch and drag and everything, and you know, he's been incredibly supportive. And it was mostly just like, well, when did you find out about this? Why didn't you tell me? And I was just like, it just sort of like developed. It wasn't something that I just sat down and I was just like, huh, I guess I'm gonna be bisexual now. I'll update my Facebook.
I need a
It was just
change.
like it was like a gradual thing that I realized over time, just sort of like quietly. Like I didn't really have like a big second coming out where I'm like, everybody, you know, I'm declaring this on all of my official documents. It was just sort of like, you know, when people ask now, I tell them I'm bisexual if they ask about, you know, my sexuality. And yeah, it's been a nice, supportive, quiet coming out, and as far as I know, nobody has been, you know, unsupportive. Everybody's been
Yeah.
nice. It's great.
Good. That's wonderful. How about you, LMD? Anything you want to share here about how uh, the world around you changed when you were like, I'm me now. This is me.
Yeah, I mean, just internally, it just felt like I finally got up on the right side of the bed. You know, like I took like taking the weights off, and we can dance and we can exercise. We can do whatever we want. We don't have to be anchored down anymore. And fortunately for me, it was, you know, coming out to my family and my friends. It was a very positive experience. They were very cool with it, and they stopped with like. They didn't do any gay jokes. They didn't do like we always knew, you know, you don't say that. They didn't do anything like that. They were just like, okay, cool. I told my parents and they were like, cool. And so for me, I want to let people know that sometimes people can surprise you. And the Twitch community is really cool. You know, I started streaming and then I found out I was bisexual. So it's been like a journey the whole way from like starting streaming and starting drag and then telling people as I go. And it's just, yeah, for me, it's been very positive. And the positivity and the way I feel, I try to get through like with my enthusiasm for playing games and watching movies and stuff. So I don't talk about it a lot, but I'm always open to talk about it. And it's been a very positive experience for me, I have to say.
Fantastic. That is so good. Y'all, there's nothing better than hearing like people being authentic and then people getting support afterwards. So that's so heartwarming. It's just so nice. Because you never know. You never know when someone will be like, oh, everyone hates me where I live. Like, you know, you never know. So that's so good.
Queer joy is
Ooh,
great to have.
Queer joy is fantastic. I want to know. So since you like some of us are drag artists, when we first came out, like were you like, I need to go to a drag show, or like I need to play Dream Daddy? Like when you were just, here's the moment you're like, I am queer, I'm authentic, I'm me. Like, what was the first thing you were like, queer culture, I'm about it now. Here I am. Anyone? I mean,
I, I
I
can go.
started drag. No, I'm kidding.
I actually so it was 2020. So I didn't have any options really that were in like within like actual like live reach. I think I made my Stardew character gay.
Yes,
And
dating
that was
in
my first one. Yes,
games.
that was really it. Like in The Sims and Stardew, like that was where I had the space, right? Um, and that was really it. Like I didn't have a whole lot of other opportunities. I'm very blessed. I'm extremely blessed. I live in a neighborhood where we are not the only queer people on the block. My husband is also, he doesn't mind me saying it, is also queer. So like, but and we live in like a 6-person cul-de-sac and we're not the only people, which is lovely, right? Because it's very accepting in our block. And but going to Pride was great because I always didn't, it was like a mental block not to go to Pride, right?
Mhm,
Because if I go to Pride, I'll have to come out,
mhm,
right?
mhm.
In
It
my
can be
head.
hard.
So
It can be
yeah.
hard.
So this year it was like literally around the corner. They're like, Pride is here. Come here. You can see it from your backyard. I'm like, oh, fine. So, and I don't think I'll ever not go now.
I love Pride. Pride is so
Okay.
fierce.
Oh yeah, but I have to go to drag shows on my. I've been before, but like years and years ago. So on my oh, there's husband in chat. There
Hi,
on my
husband.
um Denver has a great drag scene. And I'm looking forward to being able to go out and get some Hamburger Mary's brunch in my future.
Hell yeah.
What's silly is one of the first things that I did after I came out as bisexual is I bought a bisexual pin.
Oh, yes.
I was just like, I had won the like Dead by Daylight tournament that we did with Sisters of the Fog and Stream
Mhm,
Queens, and one of
mhm.
them was a Peachy Cat gift card, and I went on there and I bought myself a little bisexual kitty cat pin, and I was like, this is for me.
I love that. And you have the bisexual lighting too.
Oh yeah,
We love
it's
to
been
see
here.
representation visually through lighting and pins. What
This
about
is how I was hinting before I came out. I was using this
oh,
lighting.
you're like, look at the colors. They
Aren't these
speak to
nice? Don't they
me
look great
somehow.
with me? Huh.
Maybe. What about Austin? Did you like what were the first things you did when you were like, I'm me and I'm accepting myself. Let me go do something really
Well,
gay. I mean,
it's so well. I'm still
the
trying.
PG version.
I'm trying to experience more gay culture. Like I think for me, it's like I love going to gay bars. Like today, I'm going to go to a gay bar. Last night, I went to a gay bar. I'm still
Hey.
trying to like experience the culture a little bit, and
Mhm.
like I love going to drag brunch, and so I'm still like I'm kind of in that process. I came out a few years ago, but I'm still like we had the pandemic, which took away a lot of time. And so
Yeah.
I still feel like I'm in my infancy in sort of exploring gay culture. And so I still get giddy to like go to a gay bar and just be surrounded by, oh my God, there's gay people here too, just like me, or queer people,
Look at all the queers.
Yeah, exactly. And so yeah, that's kind of what I like to do is go to gay bars. That's like be around other queer people. And a lot of times, unfortunately, so sometimes they don't know that I'm queer. I like don't
Mhm.
necessarily I think it is unfortunate that a lot of people will just assume that I'm you know dating a woman or I'm married to a woman or something like that, which
You
is
go with you go with your girlies, and then they're like, oh, there's the guy with his
yeah
girlfriend.
yeah a quick story. I was at the Abbey a couple weeks ago, and I was with one of my girlfriends, or Andrea Botes. She's another streamer on the
Mhm.
platform, and I was with Andrea, and another a gay guy was like taking a Snapchat video of us, and he's like, and I was getting my makeup done for I was like a football player or something for Halloween,
Mm.
and he in this Snapchat story he says, guys, you got to get out here. The straights are here with their girl, or the straights are here with their boyfriends or whatever.
Oh
And
no.
he showed that to me after I told him I was gay, and he's like, but yeah, it's not truly like it's not like I'm not like, oh, this is something that impacts me like negatively. It's just like a little minor inconvenience to tell people, but yeah. All in all, I like to experience queer culture by going to gay bars.
Absolutely. I think we can all enjoy that.
Mhm.
What about you, LMD?
Oh wow.
What were the first things where you were like, I'm an out and proud bisexual drag queen. I am me. Get used to it. Like, what was what was the first thing you were like, I need to take advantage. I need to do. Was there anything? Maybe there was nothing. Maybe it was just like click.
Yeah, see, I don't know if there was anything. I think because I was into like Katy Perry and like Audrey Hepburn and stuff. So I was really embarrassed by that. And then I think just instead of like a switch, it was slowly like a gauge turning. So instead of being like, I don't want to talk about this stuff, it's like, I love Audrey Hepburn. Talked about Audrey Hepburn all day. I don't care. I love Jane Fonda. Let's talk about movies. Let's talk about gay stuff. And it was just that accepting that it's okay to like it. And I think that it was more of like a mental thing, more of embracing kitsch, embracing camp,
Mhm.
embracing,
Mhm.
you know, I would say more fun art, more expressive art than I don't know. I went to art school, so you're taught like a regimen of specific
too.
stuff, and it
Me
kind of
too.
made that go away, right? It's more fun. You can
Yeah.
yeah, it's I don't know. So yeah, it was more of a my thought process changing and my treatment of myself. That's really what changed for me personally, and that's what I've been trying to strive toward, being more okay with my interest in what I do after coming out.
That's beautiful. I think
For
we
the
could all
record,
learn from that.
I think it's perfectly okay to be ashamed of being a Katy Perry fan.
Harming, you are harming the community with those comments.
Slander.
I gotta live up to my reputation.
I love specifically what you said, Austin, because I feel like it's a callback to sort of what Harming had mentioned about how like you're integrating with your culture, you belong there, you are at the gay club, and then someone's like, oh, the straights here, or Harming mentioned like, oh, you're not this, you're this. Like that's just the
Mhm.
the transition to this other thing. So I want to know like what sort of have there been any other hardships within the queer community, like you just trying to integrate and be yourself and you be with your people, and then people are like, hold on. And this, I don't need to call on anybody. I just like, does anyone have anything else to add on that kind of topic?
Well, it's just sometimes it's you don't really want to do it all the time, but it's like it is a little tiring sometimes to have to like really assert yourself as like it's very easy to just be like somebody's like somebody just referred to me offhandedly as just oh Prince Harming oh yeah they're gay or whatever, and it's like I could just let that pass because it's like people let that fall under a big umbrella, but I feel like it's really important to really like emphasize like I am bisexual, bisexual people exist, stop talking over by like stop erasing bisexual people, stop erasing what they're saying and their experiences and writing it off as like unimportant or whatever. It's just like I would say that's probably one of I don't know how to
No, for sure. The
yeah, things
entire
like that.
queer community, like we are already othered by other cultures and other people and other communities. So why are we
Mhm.
othering our own selves? Why are we cannibalizing our own
Exactly.
community? And I think
Yeah.
that's a really important point. Austin, yes.
Yeah, Harming, I think what you say is really important because I too kind of came out as bisexual and people are like, no, you're
Mhm.
gay. And to be completely honest, I do feel like I rarely have any feelings towards like rarely do I ever think of like a girl in
You
a
don't think I'm pretty?
oh, I mean, I think you're gorgeous, of course, but
Oh,
like
you.
I
Go on.
rarely like do I have those experiences. However, they do happen every once in a while, and it's almost because of the way, like because I've honestly perpetuated the fact that I'm gay to everybody. I almost it's so interesting when I have like when I see a girl that I think is really pretty and I'm attracted to physically, I'm like, oh shit! I start to have the same crisis that I had when I
You
was
might be in the same
coming
situation
about
I was in.
yeah, coming
Ooh.
out as gay. But that being said, I I often I do feel comfortable saying that I'm gay because I don't know because it really if somebody came to me and they're like Austin, you will never ever have a romantic relationship with a woman for the rest of your life, I'd be like, all right. I'll be fine. You know, I'll live. But sexuality is so complicated, and it's not just, you know, straight, gay, whatever. It's a lot of in between, and yeah. But what you say is really important. Is you know, putting people in a box is like it can be so it can cause people to have crises even if they're gay and they're like, you know,
Stifling.
yeah. So
I
yeah.
think one of the biggest challenges I face has been internalized. The whole like, am I actually queer or am I just doing this for, you know, like, do I belong in this space? Because I'm bisexual. My nesting partner is a woman, so it's like that whole. Are people going to think that I'm not bisexual because I'm with someone? You know, that straight passing a relationship type thing. But the perk, I guess, to me in our relationship is being non-monogamous as well, and that kind of like that kind of like, even though obviously it's always okay for bisexual people to be bisexual and to be with someone who is of the air quote opposite gender, even though gender is a construct and it's a whole spectrum. It's nice to have that kind of like internalized reassurance for myself occasionally to be like, oh yeah, I can still look at, you know, people of the same gender and be like, yes.
Yes. Thank you all so much for sharing. Did anyone else want to say anything else about like integrating into queer communities, but like feeling like you're othered within your own community?
I
So
mean,
it's a learning point for everyone.
yeah, it's really just echo. Mine would just be to echo exactly what most everybody has said, especially as someone who's bi, pan. It's hard with the erasure when you're in a straight, you know, looking relationship. People will automatically assume, oh, well, you know, it's like, no, that's no. But okay, like I've had that conversation before. Like, oh, we're the only queer. Like, had someone say to me, I'm the only queer person in the room, and I was like, are you sure? Because I'm not
Check
sure.
that.
Right. Perhaps not. Being othered is a huge thing, right? And I think I don't often think about it because I'm so used to it being half black, right? I get othered in many sections of my life, right? So it's like
Mhm.
it's almost status quo for me, right? In a way that I've embraced because I'm like, okay, that's just I'll hang out with the others.
Yeah.
That's where the fun people are, regardless. And we'll just have fun over here.
Yeah, I mean that's sort of what this whole convention is about, is like we're all the odd one out. And so you can be the odd one out and you just find the other odd ones out and then you're a community. I mean,
Mhm.
that's beautiful. And I loved how Rebel and Imperial both touched upon. I was actually pulling a question from the audience because I love this one. Um, I'll repeat it, even though you touched upon it a little bit, and you can elaborate a little bit more if you'd like, Imperial. Charlie St. Monica said, would love to hear Imperial talk about the struggle of being in a straight passing relationship. Do you have
Charlie,
anything else to
sure.
add to that?
Charlie is a good friend of mine.
That's
Coming in
fine.
with the question. It can be a struggle. Um, to the point where I called my husband straight over the summer and I still feel
Oop,
really bad about it. I was like,
it happened.
look at me doing it to you, like imperfect, right? And it's okay to be imperfect, right? And I think that I try to embrace that in myself and embrace that in other people, and try to give grace as long as things are not done with malicious intent. The way that the world is going, I really have two buckets for people, and it's really malicious intent and non-malicious intent at this point because I would rather I mean, it's a low bar right now, right? For good people, right? And it is hard being just assumed, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
you put in all this energy and effort into coming out because it is a lot of energy. Even if you're just typing a post on Twitter like, hey, by the way, it's Pride, and I just want everyone to know, here's a little flag, everything's
Mhm.
good. But the amount of steps it took you to get to that journey, that the end of that journey are immeasurable and shouldn't be ignored by you if by no one else, right? And I think that's where I try to draw my comfort from, is that even if we are a straight passing relationship, I know who I am and my
Yeah.
husband knows who he is and we know who we are. together. And I, it is nice to be able to be at the mall and be like, he is these pretty hot. Right. And I will be like, hey, agree. Right. So it's I do enjoy it. It's bonus, like bonus conversations that you get to have.
Respectfully
love-
checking out people with your partner is
Right.
wonderful.
It is, and it is all respectful. It's very respectful. But yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. We only have a few more minutes. I feel like we could have this conversation all day long, but we only have the slot we got. Thank you all so much for being here. I want to go around the room and I want y'all to reintroduce yourselves real quick, but I also want you to just say something quick, something to impart the community with about being yourselves, because it's never too late to be yourself, right? So I'm going to go around the room. Austin Show, who are you? What do you do? Where can we find you and inspire us?
My name is Austin Show. I stream on.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Well,
am I?
you're back. Hi,
Am I
Austin.
back? Okay, sorry, it's the hotel internet. My name is Austin Show. I stream on twitch.tv/Austin Show. I stream reality TV based content. And yeah, for those of you out there that may be struggling, it's okay to be you and be unapologetically yourself. You've got one life to live. Whenever you're comfortable, if you're ever comfortable, you don't ever have to come out, but it's pretty fucking awesome when you do.
Thank you, Austin. Imperial.
Yeah, I'm Imperial, twitch.tv/Imperial. You can find me there. I sew on Twitch, which not super typical, but again, as we've learned, I'm not super typical. I my new tagline. Oh my gosh, I forgot the rest of what you wanted me to say.
So, what is something that you can impart
Thank
with
you.
With the queer community, maybe the ones that are listening that are questioning or like they're not
Right.
sure if they have the tools to be
That's right.
themselves?
Yeah. If you don't have the tools to be yourself, realize that you're the best you can be, and your journey is your own. And as long as you're taking steps forward to your best you, that is valid. You don't have to be out to be valid. You don't ever have to be out to be valid. You just have to be you to be valid.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Rebel.
Yeah, so Rebel, twitch.tv/Rebel. I'm also on all of the socials. The biggest piece of advice I can share is kind of finding peace with your subconscious voices. So like not berating them, not attacking them, not pushing them away, not trying to repress your feelings, your emotions, trying to embrace them, being kind to yourself internally. I think that's the key part for self-acceptance from the start, which is the most important thing. Other people's acceptance is wonderful, but the key is finding that self-acceptance first by listening to those internal voices, the subconscious, and making friends with yourself, essentially.
Tea, you spilled.
Everywhere.
Lady Mega Danger.
Yeah, I'm Lady Mega Danger. We do bad games, we do retro games, we watch public domain films, a lot of cult stuff. Check me out, twitch.tv/Lady Mega Danger. You matter. You matter, and come out when you're ready. You don't even have to. And when I came out to my sister, the thing that she told me that really stuck with me is you don't owe anybody anything. And I just want you to know that you don't owe anybody anything. You matter. Be comfortable with yourself. It'll be okay.
So true. So true. Prince Harming, do you have anything to, well, first tell us where to find you once again, and what are you going to impart the community with?
Yes, I'm Prince Harming. You can find me at Prince_Harming here on Twitch. Not the other one. I don't know who that is. And just remember to listen to yourself, embrace your own feelings, and don't listen to what other people say you are. Listen to yourself. Something like that.
Thank you so much. This has been such a beautiful panel, and I wish that we had more time because I think that this is such an important conversation, but I know that we have inspired people to either be more themselves, be more authentic, or maybe have people that are struggling. They heard some words that will encourage them to, take charge of their life and do what they got to do and do what they want to do. And like everyone said, There's no time frame, there's no timeline on coming out. It's just you should be comfortable with who you are. So we implore you, be yourself, be your best self. Coming up next is Creators with Disabilities, so stay tuned. My name is Dear Let's Play What You Fear, twitch.tv/Dear, founder of Team Stream Queens. I love Stream Queens Con, Stream Queens Con 3. Thank you for being here. Woo!
Woo!
Wave!